Dave, I think you and I would both agree that it's really exciting that questions are now coming in to our site, and we really would want to encourage people to send questions in. I've got another question for you, a third one that's on the ontological argument from the Sacred Heart of Mary Girls' School. It's quite a long question, so I hope you can bear with me as I state it. The question is this: Descartes states that for God to lack existence would be for him to lack perfection, which would mean it would be a being other than God. Does the fact that the nature of God is in no way explored mean that the argument holds little meaning as evidence for the existence of God?
I'm not sure that the lack of detail means that it doesn't work as a proof. What I think it perhaps does indicate is how little it achieves if it does work. So it doesn't necessarily mean that it's not a good proof, because it doesn't prove a very fulsome account of God, but it might be a rather limited proof. So it might be successful. We already said in another video, it's a big if. But even if it is successful, if Descartes' account of it is successful, it does seem to prove rather a, this might be the right phrase, a kind of thin suit deity.
Okay,
and
yes.
It proves there is a being who is necessary, but it doesn't demonstrate in any way that being cares about us, that being is even interested in our fate and things. And for that, the theist would have to rely on empirical evidence, or, God forbid as it were, faith. And of course, what these arguments really don't, I think, take into account is the importance of faith. If we could prove God existed, there'd be no role for faith.
Exactly.
And if we could prove through logic that God was a necessary being, as Descartes seems to maybe want to do, to say that it would be imperfect and not exist, then much of what we take as important in religion, in which many theologians, many believers, it really spans across either side of the pulpit and the pew, as it were, people think is important, would evaporate. Yeah. All that belief, all that faith, all that trust in the idea of God would be gone overnight, and it would almost mean nothing to believe, because it would be obvious. It's like, do you believe in the sun?
Right.
Of course I believe in the sun. It wouldn't be a stupid question to say, do you believe in the sun? The whole, with the survey. It's ridiculous. So to prove that God exists would almost to take away so much of what is in religion. And I think some people understand that very well. I won't get drawn into it, but there's been a prime case is probably Kierkegaard.
Absolutely.
The Knight of Faith. Yeah. He sees immediately that religion isn't about logical proof. It's about something different to that. And I think these proofs generally fall into the trap, particularly when handled as if they're attempts to prove to the non-believer that God exists. They fall into the trap of not really getting what religion is. So come back to the question very briefly. Descartes says that it does not exist within imperfection. Again, as I said in the video, I think actually that is to really miss the point, or is quite well rebutted by Russell's point, Bertrand Russell's point, that the thing, God or whatever it is, along with its properties, doesn't make a statement about its existence. And to make God an exception to that seems to me a linguistic sidestep, not a genuine attempt to really penetrate into the mystery of God or the nature of what God might be.
Thank you very much. Pleasure. Thank you, Dave.